This is another episode of the One and Done podcast with Stephen Begel and John Simpson. I am here with John, as usual, but we have a very special guest. As you guys know, I am a Temple University alumni, alumnus, whatever the correct terminology is, it doesn't matter. But this was a great opportunity for us because Lynn Greer III, just announced his that he's going to be transferring to Temple University on, I believe it was Wednesday, actually. I was going to say yesterday. But first of all, Lynn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Can't complain.
John, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to talk about college basketball. Portal season. Just got done with a great season, fun season. It's been a while since we got to get on here, so excited to talk to Lynn. Ready to get into this thing.
Okay. So I suppose my first question is, Lynn, you started out of you're obviously a Philadelphia basketball legend, as is your father. You played 4 years of Roman Catholic high school, and then you did, I believe, what was it, a grad year at IMG Academy.
Yep.
From that point, you committed to Dayton University, another A-10 school, then transferred to St. Joe's, and now obviously you just announced your commitment to Temple, where your dad is also on the staff as well.
Definitely.
What is that process like? Being recruited from high school to Dayton compared to being recruited as a transfer after you already have, some college experience under your belt.
Yeah, I think as far as high school recruitment, back then there wasn't the whole transfer play right away thing. So a lot of colleges were looking for a freshman that would be there for 4 years. But now with the whole being able to transfer and play right away, I think a lot of the schools are starting to dive deep into the transfer portal and just look for older veteran guys that can make an impact right away. So I think that the recruitment wise, being in the portal is just way more serious than what high school was. I feel like in high school, it was just like, yeah, like 4 years, whatever. We want you to really come and, develop and this and that. But I think being in the transfer portal as a guy that's been in college, been through everything, I think that it was more serious and, you kind of get the sense of how the coaches really are just because you've already been through that with other coaches. So you really get the real, I think.
Okay.
That's cool. So is this your first time in the portal?
Yeah, it's second time.
Yeah, second time. So first of all, I was wondering, were you recruited by Temple when you came out of high school?
Yeah, I was being recruited by Temple. Probably started recruiting me around my sophomore year of high school.
Cool. So what would you say is like the difference between the portal, even this year, than when you transferred to St. Joe's?
I think there's a lot more opportunities. I think, especially because my freshman year, I didn't get to play a lot. So there wasn't too much film for me to be in the portal and, really get the schools that I really wanted to get or just high major schools. But now having the film that I have and all the experience that I've had, I think it was just way more smooth.
So your last, obviously, we already talked about you transferred from Dayton to St. Joe's. Now you came back in the portal, ended up at Temple. I believe, you could correct me if I'm wrong, your final three were Temple, Seton Hall, and Villanova.
I actually didn't. The crazy thing about my whole recruitment was that I wasn't saying anything to anyone. So, if I told somebody something, then it just kind of got out there, but they don't really know the full thing. Like I never had a top three or anything.
So that leads me to my question was, how seriously did you consider schools that were in Temple before you committed?
I considered all the schools. I was really listening, hearing them out. I built good relationships with a lot of other coaches. But at the end of the day, I just felt as though Temple was home, and I felt like they really wanted me, and and I could just trust them.
Okay. And how do you think your dad's legacy at Temple, not only him being on the staff, but again, he's Temple's second all-time leading scorer, I believe. How much did that, the legacy play into you wanting to play there?
Well, I wouldn't even say that, but just growing up, being around Temple, seeing Khalif play, seeing Shiz play, seeing Q Rose play, like just seeing all those guys play at a young age, growing up on that, I think it definitely played a big part because I remember when the games used to be sold out, they used to be packed, and that was like those were prime memories when I was younger. And growing up, like I always wanted to be a Temple Owl. So just seeing that atmosphere at a young age and seeing the fans go crazy like that, it just really made me want to go to Temple and just turn it around and get it back to that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I know Steven was excited about you when he started saying, "Man, Lynn Greer's going to commit to Temple, dude." I see. He's on Twitter and stuff, man. So he's been happy about it. And I'm from North Carolina. I grew up Tobacco Road, ACC basketball, man. But I always remember watching those Temple teams with Coach Chaney growing up, man. Those are some great teams.
Great teams. Pepe Sanchez,
legendary.
They had some killers.
Yeah. So, okay. So, going from there, so obviously, we know that you've committed to Temple, and you've got some other guys coming to Temple too.
Mm-hmm.
Temple's going to have a nice squad this year. We were kind of wondering, are you talking to these other guys when they're talking about, committing to these schools or in the portal? Like, did you know that Jamal Mashburn Jr. was going to commit to Temple?
Yeah. So actually, once Jamal went on his visit, I kind of started to build a relationship with him, just reaching out, texting him, seeing him how he's doing, telling him like what I'm looking for in next year. He's telling me what he's looking for in next year. And we kind of just bonded just because, we're two guys that love to be in the gym, love to work, love to get better. And that's mainly what we were talking about. And then Millsy, I've known Millsy since I was a kid. We always used to play against each other. Just growing up in Philly, playing at Rose Park, playing at all these different parks in the city, and so I actually was walking around and somebody was on FaceTime with him, and he handed the phone to me and he was talking to me about Temple and what he was looking for, and I thought it was a great fit for him. Especially to play with me, I love playing with shooters, and he's a phenomenal shooter. He just hasn't really gotten the playing time to show that. But yeah, I really think it's a good fit for him.
Oh yeah, we're excited to see this backcourt. It's gonna be a great team
for sure.
So we obviously talked about Jamal Mashburn Jr. and we talked about Jamil as well. Those are the three commitments Temple got this week.
Right.
There's a lot of speculation. Again, I don't know what you know. I don't know what you could say as well. Lance Ware, I know, is one of your close friends, or at least that's what I've been informed.
Yeah.
And I know he's, going after him as well. Yeah. What type of role are you going to play? And, not even trying to sway him towards Temple, but just helping him as a friend with his decision and his transfer process.
Lance is my best friend. He's been my best friend since a very young age. I just want the best for him. I think Temple would be a great fit for him. I think he'd play a lot, and he'd get to show what he's truly capable of. So I preach that to him all the time. But at the end of the day, I just want him to be happy. He's a very good friend. So his happiness, that's all that matters to me.
Absolutely. You're a good friend.
I appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. It's awesome hearing about you're talking about all these guys you played basketball with your whole life, growing up in Philly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you talked about a little bit like what you want and like what your plans are. And stuff. How do you anticipate like maybe the play, the game, how things are going to go moving to the AAC from the A10?
Well, the A10 is not sweet. A lot of people think it's sweet. It's a very tough conference. A lot of great players in there. But I mean, we played against all top teams. We played against Kentucky, played against Princeton. We played against Georgia. Like we played against all those Power 5 schools. So I don't see it being much of a problem jumping to a different conference. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to have to put in the work. The team, we're going to have to put in the work. And we have a good group of guys that love to be in the gym. I've gone up there a couple times, and I always see them in the gym. So I think it's going to be really fun. And I think everybody's going to make each other better. And everybody has something to prove. So I think it's going to be really good.
You guys took Kentucky to overtime as well. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it was a good game. We should have won that game.
Yeah, that was a tough one. As someone who supports Big 5 basketball in general, again, I'm from the Philadelphia area. Obviously, I was rooting for you guys to pull it out.
Yeah. Thank you.
But going off, the theme of, growing up Philadelphia basketball, obviously your dad being a Philadelphia basketball legend himself, and you making your imprint on Philadelphia basketball with these guys you played with your whole life. What does the Big 5 and playing, obviously you played at St. Joe's, you're playing at Temple now. What does like the Big 5 mean to you?
It's a blessing, I don't think there's anywhere else. Well, there isn't anywhere else in the USA that has a league like this in the city. So it's honestly a blessing. And like I said before, just growing up and seeing all those tough players, seeing Jalen play against Temple at Temple, seeing Shiz play against Nova at Temple, seeing Shiz play against Nova at Nova, like it's honestly, it's just a blessing just being able to grow up and see that, and then being able to play in it, and being in a category with all those legendary names and those legendary games. And I just hope every game that we play in the Big 5 is just a memorable game that the fans can always go back and watch and be like, oh, that was a really good game.
Absolutely. And I know Temple didn't have, they obviously made the American championship this year, the conference tournaments, but 2 years ago with, that great Damian Dunn, Khalif Battle, Zach Hicks team that ended up, maybe underachieving a little bit. They beat Villanova that year and won the Big 5. So
they beat USC too.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a big game.
So that was, just in general, they won the Big 5 as recently as 2 years ago. So I'm sure this year we'll get back to that. We being obviously Temple. So that's what I'm hoping for as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, that being said, Temple the best team in the Big 5 this year?
100%. Without a question. Without a question. But at the end of the day, we still have to prove that. So,
yeah.
Temple the best team in the American?
Is Temple the best team in the American?
In the American Athletic Conference.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe in my guys 1,000%. Any team that I play on, I believe in us. So I'll never say anybody's better than us.
Okay, there you go.
You gotta love that energy, man. So talking a little bit about your dad, obviously Philadelphia basketball legend, Temple basketball legend. He went on to have a nice pro career playing overseas, played some in the NBA. What was that like growing up with your dad playing pro ball, especially like playing overseas?
It was honestly a blessing. I didn't even realize of how much of a blessing it was when I was younger. But growing up and having those memories, seeing him do everything that I'm trying to do in life, it's a blessing, and it's all lessons. Being able to see it up close and personal is just different.
Okay, I have one more question, and then John could conclude with one final question if he has any, and then we are going to do a segment. We call it Full Court Press. It's basically a rapid fire. We ask 10 questions. You give a short answer to those questions. just for people to get to know you better.
Okay.
So my final question is, obviously, Adam Fisher, this is going to be a second year at the helm at Temple.
Yeah.
He's proving to be, one of the better recruiters in the nation with the way he was able in a week get, you, Jamil, and Jamal, and what he's going to continue to do to build up this program, who has a very rich basketball history. Again, I think 5th most wins ever in college basketball. Do you have any good Adam Fisher stories in the limited amount of time you've gotten to know him?
I don't, but I'm sure I will, because he's such a character. He's such a good dude. And he's playing jokes all the time. I know you guys see his little Twitter tweets and all that stuff. So I don't have a Twitter, but he'll show me them occasionally. And he's a funny dude. I know I'll have some stories by the end of the season.
Well, that's how we had an idea that Jamil was going to sign, because we knew he was announcing today at noon, and Adam Fisher posted the GIF that.
Yeah. What did he post? I didn't see it. What did he post? I didn't see it.
So every time this week, hold on, pulling it up. All 3 times this week, when he had Jamal, you, and Jamil commits, he posted some type of either meme or GIF or something that indicates someone was going to sign.
Yeah.
So today, let me see if I can pull it. He did the Macaulay. You can't even see it. The Macaulay Culkin. If you could kind of see it in the corner from Home Alone. Him hugging the mom. So that's how we had an idea that someone was going to sign. For Jamal, it was Ken Griffey Jr. hitting a homer.
Yeah.
For you, it was a scene from Succession. So every time someone signs, he's posted something like that with the cherry white and an owl emoji.
Yeah.
So that's how we had an idea. So
he's a character. Great guy.
Absolutely. John, do you want to close this out before full court press?
No, I just want to see what Coach Fisher's going to do for Lance Ware.
What's he gonna do? We gotta get him first, man. We gotta keep recruiting him.
Hey, one and done pods behind you, man. Behind y'all guys.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I think that's good. We can go ahead with the full court press if you want.
Okay. So as I said, we're just going to do rapid fire, quick responses for 10 questions.
Gotcha.
Just for our listeners and everyone watching to get to know you better.
All right, sounds good.
First question, what's your major?
Communications.
Okay. So if there was no such thing as basketball, what would you be doing? Like, what would be your career path?
Commercial real estate.
Okay. Do you have a favorite basketball memory?
Favorite basketball memory? It wasn't a basketball memory, but it had to do with a basketball player. So I was in Turkey. Allen Iverson was playing in Turkey, and my dad grabbed me. He's like, "Oh, you want to meet somebody?" And I'm like, "No, like not really." But I was a kid, I was stubborn. But I ended up going, and I see this. I'm small, so I see this tall dude with some big hands and tattoos and a do-rag and a black hat on, and he turns around, and it's Allen Iverson. And as soon as he turns around, I just start crying. I don't know if he remembers this, but we were at TGI Fridays. He used to love TGI Fridays.
He owned one. The one by
he did?
On City Line Ave. Iverson used to own that TGI Fridays.
I live right here. That's crazy.
Yeah, that TGI Fridays used to own.
That's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, I saw him, and as soon as he turned around, I looked at him. He was my favorite player growing up in Philly, my favorite player. Mm-hmm. He turned around, I just started bawling my eyes out right away. Just started crying. I couldn't even hold my emotions in. And then when I got back home, I'm like, yo, he probably thinks I'm a weirdo. I cried in front of him. I hope he sees this, because I'll never forget that. That was probably my greatest basketball memory. Me and my idol.
We got to make sure that he sees it.
He got to see
How old were you? I know you said you were a kid.
I was probably like 8 years old, 9 years old.
Oh, yeah. That's okay.
Yeah,
okay, that's young. If I met Allen Iverson today, I would probably cry. So I get it.
I just say
he's my favorite basketball player of all time.
I was up to him at the game. I was trying to say what's up to him at the game, but he had like 30 people around him. I was like, I'm not going to bother the guy.
Yeah, he's John's favorite. I don't know if you heard him. He's John's all-time favorite player. And John, again, grew up in North Carolina. He's not even a Philly guy totally.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Kolby and AI, those were my 2 favorite players ever.
Okay, who's your favorite all-time player was the next question. You just answered that one.
Kobe Bryant.
What is something that most people and fans probably don't know about you?
I'm good at soccer.
Okay, there you go. Multi-sport
Yes.
athletes.
Good at soccer.
Okay. Who would you say is your
like Kolby.
Like Kobe, you know? Overseas boys.
Who would you say is your best NBA comparison? Or even player comparison, even if it's not an NBA player?
You know what a lot of people say? They say I play like Jalen because of the footwork. But I think it's just because we both have the same trainer. So I'd probably say Jalen.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah. He's tough.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, I would say flying because I hate driving.
Okay. Or teleportation would work too, I guess.
Ooh, teleportation. That'd be even easier. But I think I'd like to see the scenery, so I'd fly.
Okay. How did you choose your number?
3, because I'm Lynn Greer the third, and I remember this one memory when I was in Milwaukee living with my dad, and he was playing for the Bucks, and he was like, "What number should I wear?" And I said 3. No idea why I said 3, but I said 3, and he wore number 3 for the Bucks, and then I just stuck with that number ever since. I couldn't wear it last year though.
Are you gonna wear it this year?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Best player you ever played with and best player you ever played against?
Ooh. Best player I ever played with. I got a lot of names though. I gotta give you a couple names.
Okay, that's fine.
I say Jalen Duran, Justice Williams, and Xavier Brown, Cam Thomas, Cole Anthony, Brandon Murray, Hunter Dickinson.
It's a good list.
Eric
That's
Reynolds.
an impressive list.
I say Eric Reynolds.
Okay, and then best player you ever played against? Or did you answer that one with?
Nah, best player I ever played against. This is tough. Who really I feel like really just had had a great game. I would say Quade Green. Quade Green. I feel like he had really good games against me.
Okay,
Colin Gillespie. Colin Gillespie. I changed. I say Colin Gillespie.
G League killer. He almost averaged a triple-double in the G League this year.
Colin Gillespie is real.
Yeah.
He is nice.
Okay, and the last question to conclude this interview: Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Michael Jordan.
Interesting. I say that because John and I do the same, 10 questions. Excuse me, 10 questions before court press for every player we've interviewed. And given a lot of the guys are still in college, they grew up watching LeBron James.
Right.
We asked Wes Flanagan, who is obviously an assistant at Ole Miss, and he's an old head. And he said he's the only one to say Michael Jordan with us, I think. I think you're actually the second person to say MJ.
I've been watching basketball for a long time at a young age. And I can't say anybody was better than Michael Jordan.
Okay.
And I'll even go. I don't even want to get too deep, but I like Kobe Bryant. So, and I think Kevin Durant's up there too. To be honest,
I'm gonna tell the truth. I was thinking when he asked you that question, I thought you might say Kobe.
I was going to, but I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I'm just going. The question was Michael Jordan or LeBron James. I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings. So I'm gonna just say Michael Jordan, because if I say Kobe Bryant, I know it's gonna be all these people texting me.
Okay, there you go. Well, again, this is John. Do you have anything else for Lynn before we sign off?
Nah, that's it.
Okay, well, Lynn, first of all, we appreciate you so much for coming on. As John said, as a Temple fan, I'm super excited to even have the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. So we greatly appreciate it. Good luck this season. I will be coming to plenty of games. So obviously rooting you guys on. And again, can't say we appreciate it enough. So
I appreciate you for having me. It's a blessing.
of course.
Absolutely. Hey,
Thank
I'll
you
catch
so
you in
much.
Charlotte if I come down here this year.
Say it again.
I said I'll catch you in Charlotte if y'all come down here this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Come say what's up to me.
Okay.